Ashley, let's go to the hotline and bring in the head coach of the 3-0 Frisco Independence Knights. We're joined by Coach Kyle Story. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great today, Greg. Appreciate you having me.
I appreciate you taking a little bit of time. I imagine that this would be a rather pleasant conversation to have when you guys are 3-0 and rolling right now, as opposed to the other side of it. But so far, so good for your squad. What do you think has been the key for you guys' hot start?
Well, we've been fortunate to have a good off season this year, and had a good core of returning players from last year, and played pretty well early in the year, and just the guys coming together as a team and working together. And our quarterback, Braylon Braxton, is returning as the offensive newcomer of the year last year as a sophomore, and he's been playing really well as a junior for us, opening up the first 3 games. And our defense has really played well too. So just a combination of a lot of things, and a lot of good coaches on our staff that are getting things done and making a positive impact on kids.
This is just the second time you guys have ever been 3-0 in the young program's history. Do you get the feeling, even during a bye week, do you get the feeling that there's a little bit of excitement building around the program? You know, whether it's in the field house or just in the halls of the school, do you get the feeling that there's a buzz going around about Knights football?
I do. Just the community here, Frisco Independence community, and the middle schools that feed into us. There's an excitement in the air. Always being undefeated helps that, and the more that you can win, the more excitement comes. You know, but you also got to remember those will be the same people that'll be negative if something goes bad or you end up losing a ball game or two. So you can't get caught up in all of that. You got to keep improving and not become complacent just because you have won a few ball games.
We're talking with Kyle Story, the head coach of the Independence Knights here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. Coach, you mentioned your outstanding quarterback, Braylon Braxton, the guy who was the newcomer of the year last year. He's off to a fantastic start. You're the guy who gets to see him every day in practice. How have you seen his game grow and change maybe from a sophomore to a junior so far?
Well, he's grown physically probably 2 or 3 inches from last year. And looks like a different player. Several people that hadn't seen him since last year, when they came to our first inter-squad scrimmage, asked me who the new quarterback was, because he's grown and looks different. He's throwing the ball a whole lot better throughout the spring than what he did the spring before his sophomore year. Just better timing and anticipating receivers coming out of their breaks and putting the ball where it needs to be. And then he also had a great track season during his sophomore year last spring, and he's running so much better than what he did last year. So just physically, he's taller and faster and throwing the ball better. So he's all those 3 phases he's improved in, and it makes our offense just run that much smoother. You know,
you mentioned the defense has been excellent for you guys as well. Taking on opponents, Frisco Memorial scores 20. A lot of those kind of late in that game, but in the end, you guys have really been stifling defensively. What has been the message to the defense? I think that sometimes whenever you've got some stars on the offensive side, like Braylon Braxton, the defense can kind of feel not left out, but maybe they're not getting the headlines. But what has been the message? What's been the mantra for this defense to be off to this hot start?
Well, and defensively, they know if we're going to score that many points, that they're going to be on the field a lot, because every time we score, they're right back on the field, and they take it as an opportunity to get out there and play and get better. They're just more aggressive up front, especially. We got Nick Carpin back, who was out had a knee injury last year and wasn't able to play, and he's done a great job at defensive end for us. Sam Quiroz has been our middle linebacker, who's coming back from last year, and he's playing great in the middle. And then we've got several other players. Murphy Roberts is another returner as a junior this year as a linebacker. And then KJ Price and Ethan Tate have done a great job at corner for us. And then Princeton Ferguson and Caleb Ellis at our safeties. We got a lot of guys coming back with experience, and several of them are underclassmen, juniors and sophomores. So they're stepping up and playing above their heads and just enjoying the success that we've been able to have, and seeing that the defense gets a little bit of notoriety as well.
You guys are still, I think it's easy to forget that you guys are still relatively in your infancy as a program. Started playing varsity ball back in 2014, but it's been a quick rise, a couple of playoff appearances, a playoff win back in 2016. From your perspective, as the guy who really helped to start and give this program its opening jolt, how have you seen this program change during your time there?
Well, I tell you what, the first 2 years were brutal. we were playing with a bad hand most of the time, but the guys were always bought in and working hard and trying to improve, and you could just see the talent level increase year to year. In our third year, like you said, we got into the playoffs and won a playoff game, and then again we were in the playoffs last year, and both of those playoff times we ended up meeting up with Highland Park, who went on to win state championship both of those years that we were in. So we felt like we had great competition to go up against and played better every time. We're just working to get the program to that level where we can compete with those guys and win one of those games against them at some point, kind of like Lone Star did last Friday night. But that's a tall order, and the program has been improving, and just the support here with our administration and the people in the community has been awesome. It's a great place to be here at Frisco.
Now you guys are on your bye week, and I know for a lot of coaches will preach that it's not an off week. The bye week doesn't mean off week; just means you don't have a game on Friday night. So I'm interested in what's been the attitude around the program at 3-0, feeling good about yourself, but knowing that there's still work to do. What has been the attitude around the program during the bye week?
Just a humble and hungry attitude is what we've been preaching, and feel like we've had that with the kids, and that's always easier to do when you come off of a win. You hate to have a defeat the week before your bye week, because it's just a lot of negative energy around that. And we've been able to come off of 3 wins in a row, go into the bye week, and work on some fundamentals that we may have missed. Game planning for specific opponents, and we had through those first 3 weeks. We're still not 100% with everybody knowing exactly what they're going to do and then being able to do it full speed. So you'll see plays where we have 9 or 10 guys doing that, but we need to get to the point where all 11 of them are. So we've been emphasizing some of those fundamental things this week during practice, and had a chance to go back and focus on them. And the kids have really had a great hungry attitude about wanting to get better and make sure that we're playing the best we can once we hit the district race and then on into the playoffs, so that we're at our maximum potential.
And speaking of which, you guys are now you're preparing for next week already. I know that the game plan is on the way for Frisco Liberty, a program that I think it's they're off to a rocky start, but I think it's fair to say they're probably better than their record indicates. You guys take on them next Thursday at Toyota Stadium. I don't want to ask you to give away your game plan for next Thursday, but when you take a look at what you're up against the Red Hawks next week, what are you seeing?
Well, like you said, they're a whole lot better than their record indicates, and it's a neat deal here in Frisco. They're not but maybe 2 miles away from us. They're their high school campus from ours, and all of our kids know each other, and everybody always gets up for those games, and we're right here together. So it's going to be a tough task to get ready to make sure we're playing our best against Liberty and not take their record into consideration on how we prepare. But still go about it full speed and make sure that we're focusing on ourselves to where we're getting better, and then let the game plan take care of itself as far as playing Liberty on next Thursday night.
And that'll be your opener for District 5, 5A Division I play. And look, I think it's at the very top. You can look at the 3 undefeated teams there, and one team I think we knew was going to be pretty darn good, Frisco Lone Star, off to obviously an outstanding start. The Colony, maybe surprisingly, off to a really, really good start with Coach Rudy Rangel and company. And then y'all, not to mention Wakeland, Little Elm, teams that know each other really, really well. When you take a look at the shape of District 5, 5A Division I from your perspective, what are you seeing?
Well, like you said, everybody knew Lone Star was going to be loaded, and they're really explosive offensively and got more team speed on the field than anybody defensively. And the Colony didn't surprise anybody either. If they played them last year, they had a lot of young ones coming back, Miles Price and several other Division I players that they've got. They're going to be another very tough opponent. Those two seem to be, probably have the biggest talent load of anybody. Wakeland and Little Elm, same way. They're as good as anybody, and they always do a great job coaching, and tough to compete with in districts. So there's a lot of teams there, and then you can't count out Heritage or Centennial at any time either, because they can jump up and beat anybody on any given week during district. So it's a tough race, and you just got to take them one at a time and make sure you're ready to compete every Friday or Thursday night, whatever the game night happens to fall on.
It's Kyle Story, the head coach of the Frisco Independence Knights, joining us here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. Coach, one last question is I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that you are a North Texas alum.
Yes,
You are a Mean Green. How are we feeling about the Mean Green these days? Tough loss a couple weeks ago against SMU, but how are we feeling about the Mean Green?
I tell you what, I like their chances a lot in their conference play. Coach Luttrell's done a great job. He and his staff they always come by and recruit our area, and they do an outstanding job coaching the team and getting the most out of the talent that they do have. And they've been getting better and better recruiting classes in every year. So I tell you what, North Texas is going to be somebody that's going to contend for that conference title, and I feel great about the program. It's definitely headed in the right direction.
He is Kyle Story. He's a proud Mean Green alum, and he is the head coach of the 3-0 Frisco Independence Knights. Follow him on Twitter at @story_Kyle. Coach, appreciate your time. Congratulations again on the fantastic start. Enjoy the bye week, and best of luck next weekend down the road.
Okay, thank you, Greg. I appreciate it.
There he goes, Kyle Story, the head coach. Frisco Independence Knights join us here on Texas Football Today. Off to a 3-0 start. Computer loves them.
Yeah.
The computer really likes them, what they've been able to do. And I think it's because part of it is the style points have definitely been there.
Oh, for sure.
Last week they beat Denton 63-7. They beat Frisco Memorial 49-20. They opened with a 57-14 win over Richardson Pierce. If you are winning and winning going away, the computer is going to notice.
Oh, yeah.
Now, look, bigger challenges to come.
Sure.
And
But I mean, even when you, yes, they got that game against Lone Star on the 10th of October. But until then, I mean, Liberty, Heritage.
They should be 5-0.
They should be going. They're
going to be favored.
5-0.
They're going to be favored in every game up until Lone Star, and there's not many teams that are going to be favored over Lone Star at this point. The other one is the Colony. The Colony's going to be interesting, but I think right now
we're looking at a good hot start.
This is a team, and Braylon Braxton's slinging it. This, as long as the defense keeps playing well, this is going to be a team that's going to be a team to be reckoned with. So, appreciate.
Don't we just love a Mean Green alum? I mean, just continuously the people we call being Mean Green alum coming out here and just giving us good interviews.
Don't ever say that I don't do anything for you.
Can I get a go, Mean Green?
Don't ever say that.